Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Last session, we have started supplier module and we have ordered goods from suppliers and we have entered supplier invoices. And if there's any returns, supplier returns, we have entered supplier returns. Now we are going to pay to suppliers. Or today we are entering supplier payments. You can enter supplier payments from suppliers, transactions, supplier payments. By clicking this add supplier payment, you can enter your supplier payment. And when you are entering transactions in first time, you will get this message, and by clicking next, you can continue the steps. Right. First, you need to select the supplier, and system will display supplier balance if supplier has a balance, and system will display the document number. After you select the supplier, if your supplier has outstanding balances or unpaid invoices, you can view from this unpaid invoices list your unpaid invoices. And if you are paying to supplier, you can enter amount here, or by selecting these invoices, system will calculate the total. Okay, now here 176,950 total, that total calculated from here. And if you are paying any checks or credit card, if you want to mention the number, you can enter here. And also there's a payment method you can select. You can select cash, check, credit card, EFT. EFT is electronic fund transfer. You can select these options. And if you are paying by check, you can enter check number under reference. Next, you can select bank account, from which bank you are going to pay, and you can enter the date. And if you want to enter any descriptions or comments for this payment, you can enter here. If you are using analysis codes, you can allocate analysis codes from here. By clicking this analysis code link, this analysis code will open. After that, from this drop down menu, you can select your analysis codes. If you allocated all your payment amount to these invoices, unpaid invoices, this unallocated amount should be 0. And if you want to print this payment, you can process and print. Like that, you can enter your supplier payments. I'll repeat it again. Go to suppliers, transactions, supplier payments. Click add supplier payment. You can select supplier. After you select the supplier, you can view supplier balance and unpaid invoices. Now, previous sprint you can view from here. It will download that PDF file format, and you can print. After you select your supplier, you can view supplier balance and unpaid invoices. Here you can enter payment amount. Now, when you are creating your suppliers, there's an option auto allocate payments to oldest invoice. Okay, auto allocate payments to oldest invoice. Now, if you have ticked this option, now you can see when I enter that amount, it will automatically allocate to oldest invoices. You can sort from this date and you can check this. I'll enter the amount, then system will automatically allocate to oldest invoices. Okay, system has allocated that payment to oldest invoices. If you want to allocate your payments to oldest invoices, when you are set up your suppliers, you can tick this option, then system will automatically allocate payments to oldest invoices. Or you can select invoices manually. After you select supplier, you can enter or you can select payment method from here: cash, check, credit card, EFT. EFT is electronic fund transfer. And if you are paying by check, you can enter the check number under reference. And from bank account, also you can select your bank account, paying bank account. Under description and comment, if you want to add any details, you can enter here. After that, you can print your payment voucher. And if you want to allocate to any analysis code, by clicking this analysis code, you can allocate or you can assign any analysis codes. Right, now you can enter your supplier payment. Okay, like that, you can enter your supplier payment. And also, if you are paying your advance payment to your suppliers, you can still enter your advance payment. But when you are entering advance payment, you may not select unpaid invoices because still we haven't entered the invoice. And if you are entering advance payment, you can just enter your advance payment and you can process the transaction. Okay, you can enter advance payment also like this. In that case, you don't want to select unpaid invoices because still we haven't entered that invoice to the system. Right. Next, now sometimes you may have foreign suppliers. In that case, you can select that foreign supplier, and when you select the foreign supplier, this exchange rate will display here. Okay, after you select the foreign supplier, you can view that supplier balance in supplier's currency, and also you can view exchange rate also. And from here, if you are paying local currency, you can enter that local currency. Or if you are paying supplier's currency, you can enter that supplier's currency in supplier exchange rate. And system will calculate local currency based on this exchange rate. And if you are paying from local currency, system will calculate the foreign currency based on this exchange rate. And also, if you want to change the exchange rate, you can change by clicking this change rate. From here, you can select new custom exchange rate and you can enter the exchange rates. And also from here also, you can change the exchange rate. That outstanding invoices also will display in supplier's currency. And you can create foreign suppliers. When you are creating supplier, you can enter these details, and from default setting under currency, you can select the supplier's currency. After you create that foreign suppliers, you can pay from local currency or supplier's currency. Right. Next, now sometimes suppliers will give discount when you are paying time. Now, for an example, if you have credit period but you are paying early, in that time sometimes suppliers will give early settlement discount. Okay, and if you are getting that kind of discounts, you can enter discount here. Now for an example, this first invoice outstanding or due amount is 318,028 cents 51. Now you are paying early, for you have credit period but you are paying early. In that case, sometimes your supplier may give discount to you. So that discount amount you can enter here. Assume 18,028 cents 51 your supplier giving discount. You can enter discount here, and paid amount you can enter 300,000. Right? Now, when supplier send invoice time, also supplier can give discount. But in addition to that, if supplier giving discount when you are paying or early settlement discounts, you can enter that discount here. And here also you can set default message. You can add default message. So those message you can select here. If you want to print, you can print from here, or you can just save by clicking process, or you want to save this and you want to enter new supplier payment, you can click this process and new. Then system will save this transaction and open new transaction. Right, like that, you can enter supplier payment. Now there's another option that supplier batch payment. If you have linked your bank to this your supplier bank account or your bank account to the system, you can directly pay to your suppliers. Okay. Right. Next, we will move to allocate payments. Now, you can generate supply outstanding report. Now, you can see in this first supplier, that supplier has 100 invoice, 2,500 invoice, and 2,600 payment. Okay, this SIV is invoices, PAY is payments. The payments are in minus, and you can see this supplier balance is 0, but there are few transactions. Okay, supplier balance is 0, but there are transactions. Now this supplier actual balance is 0, but there are transactions we haven't allocated, or there are some payments we haven't allocated to invoices. Therefore, that invoice and receipt both display in this outstanding report. Now, sometimes when you are paying to suppliers, we may forget to allocate our payments to supplier invoice, or sometimes when we are paying advances, that time we cannot select invoices. After enter invoice, it will come to the system, and if we haven't allocate that payments to invoices, system will display these invoices and payments separately, even that supplier has a 0 balance. Right now, if we couldn't allocate our payments to supplier invoices, we can use this option, allocate payments, and you can select that supplier. Now, when you select the supplier, system will display outstanding or unpaid invoices and unallocated payments. Okay, left side unallocated invoices, unpaid invoices, and right side unallocated items or payments or supplier adjustment. Now, if you haven't allocate your payments to invoices, from here you can allocate. You can just drag and drop to that invoice, then it will allocate payment allocated to the invoice. Now here you can see this 105 invoice or supplier payment. There are 50,000 payment you can allocate to this invoice. Then this amount has changed, due amount has changed. This payment also will not display here. It will move to this invoice side. Okay. Again, we will allocate. Now that due amount has reduced to 254,000, and this 5,000 also remove to left side. Like that, if you have unallocated item, unallocated payments, you can allocate like this. When you are starting, that color is red, and if you allocate to any invoice, that color will change from red to green. Like that, you can allocate. And also sometimes if you have allocated to wrong invoice or incorrect invoice, you can again drag and drop to right side. Now assume this 10,000 you want to allocate to this third invoice, 136 invoice, but by mistake you have allocated to 130. In that case, you can drag again to right side this 10,000 and you can allocate to correct invoice. Like that, you can drag and drop to from right to left or left to right. Next, there are a few options. Now, first one, you need to select the supplier. Then there will be a tick box, show outstanding only. Now, if you tick this option, system will display only outstanding invoices. Now you can see there's a due amount, all has some amount under due column. Now, if you untick this option and if you refresh, you can see some invoices with zero due amount. That means zero due means we have already settled that invoices. If you want to view all invoices, you can untick this option and refresh, then system will display all invoices. Next, there are three options for display. First one, all invoices. If you select this option and refresh, system will display all invoices. Next, if you want to select invoices in between some date range, you can select second option, invoices between, and from here you can select date range from date and to date. Then system will display only that period. Okay, now here we have selected from 1st of August to 8th September. So in that period, the invoices will display here. Next one, specific invoice number. If you select that option, this box will activate it. You can enter invoice number here and you can search. Then system will display only that invoice. And if you select this specific invoice number, this date from date to date will inactivate it. And if you select invoices between, this specific invoice number will inactivate it. And if you select all invoices, these three boxes will inactivate it. Right, like that, you can change these view options. And also now sometimes if you have allocated your payment to incorrect invoices previously, you can untick this option and refresh, then that allocated invoices or settled invoices also will display. By clicking this plus mark, you can view what are the payments you have allocated to this invoice. Okay, by clicking this plus mark, you can view what are the payments you have allocated to this invoice. Now, sometimes if you want to unallocate it again, you can drag and drop to right side. Then this invoice again outstanding. Right. Next, split unallocated item amount. Now, before that, if you want to allocate one invoice from more than one payment, you can allocate like this. And if you want to allocate one payment to more than one invoice, you can allocate like this. Then you can view the balance. Right now here, 17,280 it's fully settled. Then 20,000 also fully settled, and balance 5,080 settled from this invoice. Okay, like that you can settle one payment for more than one invoices, or you can settle one invoice from more than one payments. Okay, one payment you can allocate to more than one invoices, or from different invoices, different payments you can allocate to one invoice. Now, sometimes you may have this kind of requirement. Now, there are 4 invoices. Now, from this 50,000, you want to allocate 15,000 for this invoice, 25,000 for this invoice, and 10,000 for this invoice. Okay, you want to allocate specific amount from the supplier payment: 15,000, 25,000, and 10,000. Then you cannot allocate that specific amount. You need to allocate total amount. If you want to allocate specific amount, you can use this split unallocated item amount. If you take this, and when you drag and drop your payments, you can enter how much you are going to allocate. Now, first one, we want to allocate 15,000. Now you can see our payment has allocated 15,000 for this invoice, and 25,000 for this invoice, second invoice, and 10,000 for last invoice. Right now, our 50,000 allocated to these 3 invoices, and if you want to allocate specific amount, you can use this split unallocated item amount. Then you can allocate specific amount to an invoice. Right, like that you can allocate your payments if you have any unallocated payments. Right now you can practice how to allocate your unallocated payments. you can enter a few payments and invoices, and you can practice this allocation. Okay, now we will move to next transaction, that is supply adjustments. Now sometimes your system users may enter incorrect transactions related to suppliers. In that case, you need to correct that transactions, or sometimes due to audit entries you need to change supplier balances. That case you can use this supplier adjustment. From supplier adjustment you can increase or decrease your supplier balances. Okay, if you want to change your supplier balance, you can use this supplier adjustment. By clicking this add supplier adjustment, you can add supplier adjustment. First, you need to select the supplier. After you select the supplier, if supplier has balance, it will display here. Sure. After you select the supplier, system will display balance, and from effect you can select to increase supplier balance or decrease supplier balance. And also you can select tax rate. If tax applicable for this transaction, you can select the tax rate. Next, by affecting, from here you can select any GL account related to this transaction. Now for an example, by mistake, if you have entered some supplier payment to advertisement account GL account, then you can select that advertising as your affecting account. Next, this document number will generate from the system, and you can enter any reference number related to this transaction. After that, you can enter your adjustment value. Now I'll enter 50,000, and for this explanation purpose, I'll remove this tax, select no tax. Now here you want to increase this supplier balance by 50,000. Then this advertising account will debit by 50,000, and this supplier payable credit by 50,000. Here also you can enter any description or comment if you want to enter, and you can enter date. And if you are using analysis code, by clicking this analysis code, you can select the analysis code. Like this, you can enter supplier adjustment, and if you want to increase supplier balance, you can select increase. Right. Now, sometimes you may need to decrease supplier balances. In that case, you can select decrease. And after you select decrease, you can view unpaid invoices. Okay. After, if you select decrease, and if your supplier has outstanding invoices, system will display that outstanding invoices. And if you want to allocate this amount to any invoice, you can select from here. Right, like that, you can increase or decrease your supplier balance. After you enter details, you can process this transaction. Okay, go to suppliers, transactions, supplier adjustment. Click add supplier adjustment. Select the supplier, select the effect, enter amount, and process the transaction. Right, now you can enter supplier adjustment. Okay, you can enter supply adjustment from this supply adjustment. Assume now sometimes after audit, you need to enter supply adjustment for several suppliers. In that case, if you select this add supply adjustment, you need to enter that transaction several times. Therefore, you can use this quick entry grid for enter if you have more than one supplier transaction. If you have several transactions, or if you want to enter several supplier adjustment, you can use this quick entry grid, and you can enter that transaction each line. First, you need to select the date, then you can select effect, increase or decrease. You can select the supplier, and you can enter reference number and description. Select tax rate, enter amount, select affecting account. If you want to allocate to any analysis code, you can select analysis codes. Like this, you can enter your supply adjustments. You can enter any number of adjustment from here by clicking this plus mark. You can add lines to this grid. And if you have any foreign suppliers, or if you want to enter foreign supply adjustment, you can enter that foreign supply adjustment also. You can select exchange rate and local amount. You can enter from local amount, or you can enter that supplier's currency. Okay, like that. If you want to enter more than one supply adjustment, you can use this quick entry grid. And also, if you want to import, now assume there may be more than 100 transactions. In that case, you can import that transaction to this grid without entering transaction. You can import that transaction from CSV file. Okay, click this import and select this. How do I set up a CSV file? You can click this import. After that, by clicking this, how do I set up a CSV file? Click that link, and you can download example. Open this CSV file, and you can copy paste your supply adjustment here, and you can import to the system. You can select date, or you can enter that date, supplier, reference, that type, amount, those details, and you can import to the system. And if you want to decrease, you can enter it as a minus value. If you want to increase, it's plus value. If you want to decrease your supply balance, you can enter as a minus value. After you enter these details, click import, and from here, by clicking choose file, you can select your import file and you can import to the system. After that, you can process. Right, like that, you can enter supplier adjustments. Okay, now after you enter that transactions, you can view your supply adjustments from this grid. You can view supplier name, document number, reference date, tool, and total. And from here, you can adjust this grid by selecting, or you can tick required columns. And if you want to remove any column, you can untick that column. Okay, like that you can enter your supply adjustment. And now you can practice this supply adjustment from at supply adjustment and from quick entry grid. Okay, you can enter supplier adjustment from suppliers, transactions, and supplier adjustment. Right, now we have completed supplier transactions. Next, we will move to supplier reports. First one, list of suppliers. You can go to suppliers, reports, select list of suppliers. From here, you can select suppliers from the supplier drop-down menu. If you want to select supplier, you can select from here. From supplier to supplier, you can select, or you can select range of suppliers. Or if you want to select all suppliers, you can select this supplier, then the system will display all suppliers. And from active, you can select active suppliers, inactive suppliers, or both suppliers. Next, from category, you can select your supplier categories. And from report options, you can select summary or detail. First, we will select summary and view report. Then system will display a list, that's supplier name, supplier category, active, and contact name, telephone numbers, and supplier balance. Okay, and when you are generating this supplier balance, you can see if you have foreign suppliers, system will display suppliers balance in suppliers currency. Next, list of suppliers, we will select detailed here and view the report. If you select detail, system will display that physical supplier physical address, postal address, contact details, credit limit. Those details also will display. And next, if you tick this show user defined field, system will display user defined fields. Okay, you can change this user defined field names from company settings. Go to company, change company settings, user defined fields, supplier. From here, you can change this user defined fields. Right now, you can practice this supplier listing report. Okay, next we will move to next report, purchases by supplier. From here, you can generate a report what are the items you have purchased from your suppliers. From report filters, you can select suppliers, and report filters, you can select supplier categories, and from report options, you can select date range. You can select monthly, quarterly, yearly, month to date, year to date, last month, custom dates, all. And if you select custom date, you can set date range here. And if you select all, system will display all transactions. And if you want to include supplier returns here, you can tick this option. And from style, you can select summary or detail. After that, you can view the report. Right. From here, you can view supplier name, transaction date, invoice number, quantity, and value. And if there's any returns, supplier returns, you can view it from RTN and there's a minus value. And here you can view grand total. Okay, next we will generate same report, style as detail. Now here you can view each transaction, each supplier invoice, line items also you can view if you select detail. Previous report only summary that invoice date, invoice number, quantity, and invoice value. If you select detail, you can view that item, line items also you can view. Now this invoice has two items. So those two items you can view from here. Okay, like that you can generate purchases by supplier report. Now you can practice this purchases by supplier report. This report you can print, email, or you can save as PDF, CSV, Excel. These file formats you can save this report. Next, we will move to supplier balances, days outstanding report. From this report, you can generate your supplier outstanding. Okay, you can select asset date here, and you can select suppliers, or if you want to all suppliers, you can select from two, and if you want, you can select supplier categories, and status you can select active, inactive, or both suppliers, and from style you can select summary or detail, and after that you can view report. After you click this view report, you can view supplier name, supplier balances, age analysis, 120 plus days, 90 days, 6 days, 30 days, current period, and due, total due. Okay, you can view 120 days plus outstanding, 90 days plus outstanding, 6 days outstanding, 30 days, and current outstanding, and total due amount you can view. And there are a few options. First one, you can still generate this report as summary report or detailed report. If you select summary, one supply has one line, and if you select detail, system will display each transaction wise. Now for this supplier, there are 3 transactions, so transaction wise system will display. Next, there's another option, exclude. Suppliers with 0 balance. If you take this option, suppliers with 0 balances, suppliers will not display. Now we will take this option and refresh. Now previously first up supplies has 0 balance. Now that 0 balance suppliers will not display. We'll untick and refresh again. Now you can see again that supplier will display. If you tick this option and if you refresh, that supplier will not display. Next, use foreign currency. If you want to generate this report in supplier's currency, you can tick this option, then system will display in supplier's currency. Now here you can see system will display outstanding in supplier's currency. And if you untick this option, you can view all supplier outstanding in local currency. Now all outstanding in LKR. In addition to that, if you untick that option, use foreign currency option. Now here we have ticked this use foreign currency. We cannot view total outstanding. If you untick that option, you can view grand total. If you untick use foreign currency tick box, you can view grand total. Total outstanding amount you can view from here. If you select summary, one line for one supplier. If you select detail, system will display all outstanding invoices. And if you haven't allocated any payments to our invoice, both invoice and payment will display here. Right, now you can practice this report. Okay, next we will move to supplier statement report. From here, you can generate your supplier statement, okay, with transaction. From report filters, you can select your suppliers. You can select supplier categories, and from report options, you can select date range. First, we will generate this report. From here, you can view your supplier transaction statement. Now, sometimes your suppliers will request supplier statement or supplier transactions or balance confirmation. In that time, you can send this report. And there are a few options. Now, if you want to, you are generating this report for monthly, and if you want to display opening balances, you can take this option, and then system will display opening balance as at this date. Okay, balance brought forward, it will be there. Now you can see brought forward as at this date, value will display. Next, if you want to exclude fully allocated invoices, you can tick this option. Then system will display only unpaid transactions. Okay, if you tick this option, if you tick exclude fully allocated invoices, then system will display only unpaid invoices or outstanding invoices only. Next option, use foreign currency. If you tick this option, system will display supplier statement in supplier's currency. And if you want to view in local currency or home currency, you can untick this option. Right. Next, excluded suppliers where balance is zero. If you want to exclude or remove zero balance suppliers, you can tick this option. And if you want to remove negative suppliers, sometimes supplier has negative balances when we have paid advances, or is there any supplier returns, there may be some negative supplier balances or negative suppliers. If you want to exclude negative supplier balances, you can tick this option. And also this third option, less than, if you tick this option, you can enter amount here, and system will display only suppliers balance above 5,000. Now we have entered 5,000. Below 5,000, supply balances suppliers will not display, and above supply balance above 5,000 suppliers will display. Okay, you can select different supplier, or you can select all suppliers, and you can view this report. When you are generating this report from this exclude suppliers via balances, if you tick 0, those 0 balance suppliers will not display, and negative supply balances will not display if you tick this option. And if you select the last option, less than, and if you enter any amount here, below this balance suppliers will not display. Now here we have entered 5,000. Below 5,000 balances suppliers will not display. In addition to that, you cannot tick all 3 options. If you tick this option, 0 and negative options will inactivated, and if you tick 0, you cannot, oh, this amount will inactivated. You can select tick either 0, negative, or less than option you can select. Okay, like that, you can generate your supplier statements. Here also you can view age analysis, 120 plus days, 90 days, 6 days, 8 days, current period, outstanding, and due amount also you can view. Okay, now you can practice this supplier statement report. And also we have shared some user manuals and previous session video link. You can download that. And after this, we will take a short break. We'll start by 4:40. Okay, next we will move to suppliers transactions report. From this report, you can generate supplier transactions for a particular period, and also you can select transaction type. From date range, you can select date range. You can select monthly, quarterly, yearly, month to date, last month, custom date, all. And from suppliers, you can select your suppliers. You can select your supply categories. Status, you can select active, inactive, or both suppliers. Next, from transaction type, you can select following transactions. You can select supplier adjustment, supplier invoice, supplier opening balance, supplier payment, and supplier returns. If you don't select any transaction type, system will display all transactions. Next, use foreign currency. If you tick this option, system will display transactions in supplier's currency. After that, you can click view report and generate the report. Now in this report, you can view opening balance as at this date, and transactions, closing balance, and movement for the period. You can view debit, credit, and balance. And if you untick this use foreign currency, system will display all transactions in home currency, and you can view the grand total. These transactions grouped by supplier name. Okay, now each supplier has opening balance, transactions, closing balance, and movement for the period. Right, now you can generate this supplier's transaction report. Okay, we will move to next report, supplier purchase orders. Now, from this report, you can generate supplier purchase orders for a particular period. Date range, you can select monthly, quarterly, yearly, custom dates or all. From suppliers drop-down menu, you can select suppliers, and you can select customer categories from customer category drop-down menu. And from status, you can select active, inactive, or both suppliers. Document status, from here, you can view all transactions, confirmed purchase orders, canceled purchase orders, pending purchase orders, overdue purchase orders, or invoice purchase orders. Use foreign currency. If you tick this option, you can view transactions in supplier's currency. Right. Now, in this report, you can view date, transaction date, delivery date, purchase order number, supplier name, exclusive amount, tax amount, total amount, and status of this purchase order. You can view invoiced, pending orders. Now, in addition to that, if you want to select any document status type or document status from here, you can select. Now, if you want to follow up pending orders, you have ordered but still supplier haven't delivered that order, so you can select this pending and you can generate the report. Then you can view what are the pending orders. Okay, next report is supplier purchase orders by supplier. Now, from this report also, you can generate purchase orders, supplier purchase orders. You can select suppliers and select supplier category. You can select date range from report options, and you can generate the report. Now, in addition to that, here you can generate this report in summary format or detailed format. Now, if you select summary, one line for one transaction, and if you select detail, system will display each transaction. Item lines also will display. You can select status. Right. Now, if you select detail, you can view each purchase orders line item also. Now, here you can view that line item, but if you generate a summary report, you cannot view items. You can view only transaction date, delivery date, reference number, status, quantity, total quantity, and amount. But if you select detailed, you can view each transaction line item also. You can view. In addition to that, now both report you can generate both report these supplier purchase orders and supplier purchase orders by supplier. Both report you can generate supplier purchase orders, and first report, that is supplier purchase orders. In that report you can generate list of purchase orders. Okay, from here you can view list of purchase orders. And second report, supplier purchase orders by suppliers. From this report, you can group your purchase orders by supplier. Okay, now here first one PW Holdings, second one group by supplier one. Like that, you can group by supplier, and each supplier total also you can view. Here you can group purchase orders by supplier, and you can view supplier wise total. Okay, you can view total suppliers and total quantities. Yeah, you can group by purchase orders by supplier. Right, both reports generate purchase orders by second report, supplier purchase orders by supplier report. You can group by purchase orders by supplier. Right, now you can generate those two reports, supplier purchase orders and supplier purchase orders by supplier. Okay, next we will move to supplier invoices report. From this report, we can generate what are the supplier invoices we have entered, or what are the invoices we purchased from particular period. From date range, we can select date range, monthly, quarterly, yearly, month date, last month, custom date, all. And from supplier drop-down menu, we can select supplier. And from customer supplier category, we can select supplier categories. And from status, we can select active or inactive suppliers. And if you want to include supplier returns into this report, you can tick this option, supplier return tick box. And if you want to view this report in supplier's currency, you can tick this use foreign currency tick box. After that, you can view the report. In this report, you can view transaction date, document number, supplier invoice number, supplier name, due date for payment. And if you have promised to pay in a particular date to pay this invoice, you can view anticipated payment date, and you can view exclusive amount, tax amount, and total purchases. And you can also view total outstanding. Now, if you have ticked include supplier returns, you can view supplier returns. You can see these minus figures, that is supplier returns. And if you tick this use foreign currency, you can view transactions in supplier's currency. And also you can view that in this invoice, total purchases is first one, total purchases is 978.51. Total outstanding is 0. That means we have fully paid. And second invoice, total purchases 90,000 and total outstanding also 90,000. That means we haven't paid. And this SIV 000130 invoice, that is total purchases 375,000. Total outstanding is 318.28 cents 51. That means we have paid partially for this invoice. Okay. First one we have fully paid. Second one we haven't paid, and this invoice we have partially paid. And also in this report also, if you untick this use foreign currency tick box, you can view grand total. This report also you can export to PDF, Excel, CSV, or you can print or email. Right, now you can generate this supplier invoices report. Okay, next report is supplier unallocated payments. Now from this report, you can generate what are the unallocated payments. Okay. Now in this customer or this supplier has 2,600 payment we haven't allocated to our invoices. Okay. And also you can use this report when you are allocating supplier payment allocation, allocate payments. You can use this report, then you can view this supplier and you can go to transaction and you can allocate that payment. Okay, now this supplier has unallocated payments. You can drag and drop to these invoices and save. From this report, you can use for payment allocation. Here also you can select date range, suppliers, and you can include supplier returns, adjustments, and you can view this report in suppliers currency also. Okay, from here we can check what are the unallocated payments. Right, now you can generate this report, supplier unallocated payments. Okay, next we will move to final report, email sent to suppliers. Now from this report, you can view what are the emails you have sent to your suppliers. You can select suppliers. You can select date range. and you can view the report. You can view the date, sent from, sent to, recipient email, type, document number. And also by clicking these links or that document number, you can view that document. Okay, by clicking that link, you can view the document. Right, now you can generate this email sent to suppliers report. Okay, now we have completed supplier report. Finance section is special. Now from special, you can adjust your supplier opening balances. Now, when you are implementing the system, you may enter supplier opening balances. You can enter supplier opening balances when you are creating supplier. Here you can enter supplier opening balance. And sometimes later, after you implement the system, later you will found that entered opening balance incorrect. Okay, initially entered opening balances incorrect. Therefore, you want to change the supplier opening balance. In that case, you can use this supplier special option. Go to adjust opening balances. Select the supplier you want to change opening balance. And if that supplier has an opening balance, it will display here. You can enter why you are changing this opening balance, and you can enter new opening balance. After that, you can save. Okay, like that. If you want to change your supplier opening balances, you can use this special option. Select adjust opening balances. Select the supplier. After you select the supplier, system will display current opening balance. You can enter why you are changing the opening balance, and you can enter new opening balance. And you can save. Then this supplier new opening balance will display as 10,000. Right, now you can practice how to adjust your supplier opening balances. Okay, now we have completed supplier module. I'll quickly go through supplier module. You can create suppliers from suppliers, add a new supplier. From here, you can enter supplier details, and you can create supplier categories from here. Add category, enter description and save. You can enter following transactions: supplier purchase orders, invoices, supplier returns, supplier payments, allocate payment, supplier adjustment. And based on your company, you can enter purchase orders, or after you received goods, you can convert purchase orders to invoices, supplier invoices. And if you are returning goods back to suppliers, you can use this supplier returns. And if you are paying to suppliers, you can use supplier payments. And also, if you haven't allocated any payments to your supplier invoices, you can use this allocate payment to settle that invoices. And if you want to adjust your supplier balances, if you want to increase or decrease your supplier balances, you can use this supplier adjustment. And from reports, you can view list of suppliers, purchases by supplier, supplier outstanding report, age analysis, supplier statement, supplier transactions, supplier purchase orders, supplier purchase orders by suppliers, and supplier invoice, supplier unallocated payments, and emails sent to suppliers. From special, you can change your supplier opening balances. Right. Next, we will move to customers module. From here, at customer, you can create a new customer. You can enter customer details and save. You can create sales reps. You can create customer categories. Next, we will move to customer quotations, or we will move to transaction. First one, customer quotations. You can create customer quotations from customers, transactions, customer quotes, and click add quote. From here, you can select your customer. This document number will generate from the system, and if you have any balances, system will display that balance. And if you have entered VAT reference numbers, credit limit, system will display, and address also will display from the system. And if you want to add any customer reference number to here, you can enter. If your customer has sent purchase orders or request for proposal, you can enter that number. And from here, date is transaction date. And if you are providing any default discounts, you can enter that discount rate here. If you set discount when you are creating the customer, that discount rate will display here. From here, you can set default discount rate. That rate will display here. After that, you can select your items. From here, you can select items from this drop-down menu. You can view item code, item description, and quantity on hand. And if you have already entered prices, that price will display here. And if VAT applicable for this item, you can process the transaction with taxes. Okay. And if you want to allocate this transaction to your analysis code, you can select analysis codes. And also, if you want to add lines by clicking this plus mark, you can add lines to this quotation. You can enter quantity, price, and you can process this quotation. And also, if you want to email, you can email, or you can print, or you can save this quotation. Right, now you can enter quotation, go to customers, transactions, and select customer codes and enter quotation. Okay, like that, you can enter quotations, and also now if you have any quotations previously, if you have entered any quotations, after you select your customers, you can load that previous quotation details. Okay, select your customer. Now we have entered transaction and quotations to this supplier customer. By clicking this used last quote details, then that previous quotation details will fill in this quotation. Okay, after that you can save. Next, you can add any number of lines here, and also if you want to add any line note for this item, by clicking this file mark, you can enter that note to here. Now for an example, if you have any item, now computer keyboard, if you want to add serial number, you can enter your serial number here. Or if you want to add any note, warranty, those details you can add here. After you enter any detail here, this color will change to blue. And also here also you can add any messages. Then it will print in the quotation. Next, there's an option, use inclusive amount. Now here you can view exclusive price, VAT, exclusive price, VAT, and inclusive price, total price. If you want to view prices in inclusive price, you can tick this option. Then system will display inclusive price. Okay, now it's inclusive. If you want to view exclusive, you can untick. Then system will display exclusive amount. And when you are creating customers, you can set default discount. Then that default discount will display here. And also if you are giving fixed discount for all items, you can enter that discount amount here. Or if you are giving different discount for different items, you can enter different that discount rate here. Now assume first item you are giving 10%, second item 5%, third item 2%. Then you can use this different discount rates. And also if you want to add by amount, you can type that amount. You can enter discount, either discount as a discount percentage or discount amount. If you enter discount percentage, system will calculate the discount amount. And if you are giving discount amount, system will calculate the discount percentage. And the system will calculate discounts and totals that these details will calculate from the system. And also you can assign sales rep if you have. Then you can follow up that quotations in who is the sales rep. After you enter this quotation, you can view list of quotations. From here you can view customer name, document number, customer reference, date, total, and status of that quotation. You can customize this grid by clicking this Customize Grid button. And required columns, you can tick. If you want to remove any column, you can untick that column name. Next, you can search quotations by entering name or amount or any number. You can search, and you can filter quotations from here, dated today. And if you want to search multi-column, you can search or filter from here, multi-column sorting. And also by clicking these headings, you can sort this grid. You can sort ascending or descending order. Like this, by clicking these headings, you can sort ascending or descending order. Next, there are status. You can view status. Invoice, declined, accepted, expired. Right. Invoice means you have entered quotation and customer approve that quotation and you have sent the quotation to the customer. That means you have converted that quotation to invoice. And expired means you have sent the quotation and it has reached the expiry date. And also there's another status decline. You have sent the quotation to customer and customer not accepted that quotation. Sometimes in tenders also, you will send quotations or tenders that customer will not accept because due to price or due to product specification, customer will not accept that quotation. In that case, you can change this status to decline. And if customer accepted that quotation, you can change the status to accepted. And also there's pending status. Pending is now first in quotation, expiry date is 18th of August. Now we have reached that date. Second one, expiry date is 8th of October. Still we haven't reached that date. Because of that status is pending. Okay, next, from options, you can view quotation history. When we entered this quotation, created, edited, now we have changed that. Therefore, it will display as edited. Next, user-defined fields. If you want to add user-defined fields, you can enter details here. Next, document attachment. If you want to attach any documents, you can attach from here. And you can attach up to 2 MB and maximum 5 attachments. Next, document notes. If you want to add any document notes, you can add from here. And if you have add any document note, when you reach that date, it will display in the dashboard. This here you can view that notes. Next, from here you can accept, decline, no invoice quotation. And if you want to convert this quotation to an invoice, you can convert from here by clicking this create invoice. You can convert to a quotation to an invoice. Next, there's a recurring invoices. We will discuss when we are discussing recurring invoices. You can convert this quotation to an convert to a recurring invoice. Next, if you want to convert this quotation to sales order, you can convert here. And if you want to copy this quotation, you can copy by clicking this copy code. Then now here previous one number is 1. System will create new quotation. Okay, like that you can create quotations. And also you can see some inactivated buttons here. If you tick any quotation, these buttons will activate. If you want to delete, by selecting more than one quotation, you can delete, and you can print, you can email this quotation, or you can update status. From here you can change this status, it's whether you want to accept a declined or invoice. Right, like that you can enter quotations. Okay, now you can practice these options. Okay, we will wrap up for today. Now we have completed all master file creation, and you can practice that how to create master files. And we have completed supplier modules. You can practice those transactions, and you can generate reports. And next session we will complete this customer module. Okay, and if you have any questions, please ask. Hope everyone has created their user accounts, and without any issue you can log into the system. If you have any questions, please contact us. Okay, thank you very much for your participation. Stay safe.